Charisma is the one thing every man wants, and almost no man can truly define. You know it when you feel it. That guy the whole room naturally leans toward for reasons nobody can quite explain. And you know its absence too, doing everything right and still watching people drift right past you. There are a few quiet psychological principles that determine how charisma actually forms, and by the end of this video, they'll be yours. Here's what most men don't understand about charisma. It isn't something you do, it's something you transmit. Hear this. Researchers once put a naturally expressive person in a room with two more reserved people and told them to sit in silence, no talking, for 2 minutes. Then they measured everyone's mood. The two more reserved people had drifted into whatever the expressive man was feeling, but he hadn't moved toward them at all. Read that again. Not a single word was exchanged, yet his state spread through the room and theirs never touched him. That's the part that should unsettle you, because if your state moves a room before you speak, then every time you walk over to a woman carrying tension you're trying to hide, she's already catching it. Think about walking into a room right after two people have had an argument. Nobody says a word, but you feel it. The second you step in, the air is heavy, something's off. You caught their state without a single word being spoken. That's this exact thing happening to you, except there you're on the receiving end. Now flip it. With her, you're the one sending. You walk over with something easy. Be honest. You look like the only person here who actually wants to be here. Relax, a little playful. Gives her something to step into. She hears the words, but what she pays more attention to is the way you carry yourself in the moment, and that's what she responds to. Her, that's because I probably am. Now get your lame ass out of here, says sarcastically. And because you actually feel that ease, not performing it, that's the part that reaches her. So here's what actually changes things. You stop rehearsing lines in your head before you walk over, because that was never the thing that mattered. What matters is the state you're already in when you arrive. That's the part she reads first, and the part she reads fastest. A man who walks in genuinely at ease and lets it show doesn't need the perfect opener. His calm reaches her before his words do. But calm is easy in an empty room. The test is what happens when something pushes on it. So why do some things get to you while others bounce right off? Think about the last time someone gave you a hard time about something you genuinely don't care about. Your taste in music, some sport you've never followed. You barely register it. You might even laugh along because there's nothing there to protect. Now picture someone brushing up against the one thing you actually are a little insecure about. You feel it instantly. The tightening, the urge to explain, to correct, to defend. Same jab, completely different reaction, and the only thing that changed was how secure you already were underneath. Here's what most men miss. Staying unbothered was never a skill you perform in the moment. It's what happens on its own when you're not afraid of losing the thing in front of you, which is exactly why, with her, she can feel it the moment you are. Things are going well, and she throws out a little test, the kind that sounds almost like a compliment in disguise. You're kind of sure of yourself, aren't you? The reactive version of you here's a problem to fix, so you fix it. Not really, I just don't want to come off that way. Reasonable words, but underneath them, you've already flinched. You're managing her impression of you, and she feels the scramble. Now the grounded version, same line, except nothing in you moves. You hold her eye, let a beat pass. Little bit, yeah, a small shrug. You don't explain it, don't soften it. Don't scan her face to see if it landed. So when she tests you, the tease, the raised eyebrow, the bet you say that to everyone, you finally see it for what it is. It's not a trap. You have to pass. It's an invitation. She's poking at the surface to see if anything wobbles underneath. And when nothing does, when you just smile and stay easy, she gets her answer. A man who can't be rattled is a man who isn't afraid of losing her. That's the signal underneath the calm. But listen to me carefully, because there's a version of this that goes wrong. Push, nothing shakes me far enough, and you don't become magnetic. You become a wall, unshakable, untouchable, and completely alone. Picture the guy in every action film who's all control and no pulse. The composed killer who never blinks. Nothing gets to him, completely cold. The kind of man people respect from across the room and never actually walk toward. He's got every trait men chase, but missing one key element. When researchers break down how we actually size someone up, one thing keeps coming first. Before we decide if a person is impressive, capable, or high status, we decide something simpler. Are they warm, friend, or threat? And that read doesn't just come first. It carries more weight than how impressive you are. How warm you seem shapes how people feel about you more than how competent you look. So all that composure on its own, it doesn't pull anyone in. It just makes you a calm wall. Warmth is what turns steadiness into something she wants to move toward. But warmth is also the easiest thing in the world to get wrong. Remember a time when someone did something nice for you, but you could feel the strings on it, the favor that wasn't really free, the compliment that was obviously fishing for one back. You couldn't always name it, but something in you quietly pulled away. Now the opposite. Someone was kind and wanted nothing for it. You relaxed, you trusted it, same act, both times. All that changed was what sat underneath it. With her, you're the one giving now, and she runs that exact detector. You're both laughing at something, and you say, "Okay, you're actually funny." She goes, "You sound surprised." And this is where it's decided. Nothing in you needs an answer, so you let it sit. Let her sit with it. Instead, you feel the pause and rush to fill it. No, I mean it. I don't say that to everyone. And just like that, you're the one trying to convince her. Good words again, but you didn't say them for her. You said them to get something back. And that's the part she feels. She doesn't register the compliment. She registers the reaching. Now the same moment run by a man who needs nothing back from it. Honestly, yeah. Most of the time you look like someone who takes herself way too seriously. Then you're back to the conversation. That's it. You don't add a second line to prop up the first. And she feels the difference immediately. Nothing tugging at her, nothing to be wary of. So she does the thing the reaching man never gets. She leans in. So you give her your warmth, the real attention, the smile you actually mean, the compliment you're not calculating, but you give it. The way a man hands over something he has plenty of, not something he's spending to get a result. That's the whole difference. The needy man's warmth is a payment. He's kind because he wants something back, and she can feel the invoice attached. The grounded man's warmth is a gift. He's kind because he can afford to be and expects nothing for it. Same smile, same words, opposite meaning. And she's drawn to the second man for the reason most never work out. His warmth cost him nothing to give, which means it was never about getting her at all. But pulling her in is one thing. Making her enjoy every minute with you is another. And it's the difference between a woman who likes you and one who can't stay away. Watch this next to learn how.